Today's podcast is brought to you in part by Powerful Creators Mentoring. Are you ready to manifest rapid growth in your business or your sales career? Head over to powerfulcreators.net/mentoring. And when you're checking out, remember to enter in promo code MENTOR96 to get 96% off your first mentoring session. Today's show is also brought to you in part by Naked Warrior Recovery. I have been on a personal health journey to improve myself, and after stumbling across Naked Warrior's Happy Berry energy drink with all the good vitamins and electrolytes to give you a great balance and mental clarity without the junk and jitters like other brands give you, I personally can't get enough of Naked Warrior's energy drink powder, and it actually tastes like happy berries. Click the link in the bio and type promo code JBolton at checkout for 20% off.
Welcome to the Josh Bolton Show, where we dive into interesting and inspiring conversations. And now, your host, Josh Bolton.
There he is.
Greetings.
How you doing?
Sir, I am doing I'm doing very well.
Okay.
Yeah. And yourself? How are you doing?
Doing pretty good too. I've been working on my website. So any interesting events happened today? Being it's like 9-10 o'clock for you?
Ooh, let's see. Hold on. Let me look at my schedule.
Okay.
What specifically did I do today? Well, I guess I'll say this. I was on another podcast earlier today, and me and this gentleman had it was a pretty funny intro. Even before we started talking,
Okay.
we started talking about his hair, and then we were talking about my hair. And by the time we started, recording, we were like just straight up laughing, and so that was a good chat, and yeah, I'm happy, and I was able to spread a little bit of goodness.
All right.
Yeah, a little bit of wisdom in regards to how to maintain joy through the difficult times in life.
That's interesting. That is a very important one to know, though.
Uh-huh. Well, why do you say that's interesting, though?
Usually people push for happiness. I understand what you were going for with joy. Joy is much more powerful and more effective than happiness.
Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, how did you discover that?
Through my 160 different people I chatted with. It's just one that seemed to be the thing. They're like, "Are you happy?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "But are you joyful?" And sometimes I'm like, "Why do they keep saying that question?"
Well, you said the 160 people you chatted with. Are you?
Yeah, 160 people on the show already.
Oh, okay. And you find that a lot of guests are asking you that question?
Yeah, it's usually the pre like this. Just we chat, catch up, and then they're like, "Oh, so like, how's your day? Are you happy? Kind of joyful?" And now I realize after chatting with that's like a loaded question. They were wanting me to say two, but they knew I'd pick one.
Okay. Well, I won't go into the complexities of it, but it's good to have both,
right,
during the difficult times, and it's possible for people to achieve that. There are two women who, well, they've since passed. One of them, I don't know if you've heard of Amy Carmichael.
I've heard the name. If I saw a face, I'd be like, "Oh, I know that one."
And the other one is Gladys Aylward.
Okay. I'm gonna say that's again. I've heard it, but I can't put a face to it. But okay.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to go, I guess watch a hour-long video on YouTube, check out those two women and their lives. It is fascinating, and you see that they had that mindset of remaining joyful and happy during the difficult times, even to the point where it like watching their stories has affected me and said, hey man, they like motivated.
Yeah, motivational beyond belief. I totally get that. So, tell me a little about you, what you do as a job or income.
So as of right now, I have, what's the best way to say? I have just started walking in one of my God-given purposes.
Okay.
And so this I discovered. I guess let me back up a little bit. Do you normally do an intro for the podcast, or you?
I usually cut out the pre stuff, but I'm gonna say that's kind of what I'm asking now, so I could just chop all that out and then send it from there.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, I officially discovered my God-given purpose in about the beginning of January this year, or at least I should say one of them. And
okay.
And one of my God-given purposes is to help you look more attractive, but not the person on the outside, the person on the inside, the real you, your character. And so being that I just officially discovered my purpose, so at this moment, I am currently trying to establish my trademark ecosystem.
Okay.
And so, because everything that I'll do, any future business that I'll open, or any lectures I might give, everything will fall underneath that. So basically helping people work on the person on the inside. And so, for example, one thing that's on the agenda is to open an ice cream, cake, and pastry shop.
Interesting.
In the future. And what's really funny is how I ended up getting the name for it.
Well, do tell.
So I only give a little bit because it's a long story. But so the name is A Sweet Combo. And it has meaning on a few different layers. And so it required me to take a ferry ride from an island here in Croatia to Dubrovnik. And so on that ferry ride, and this happened in the summer, on the ferry ride, I was noticing the landscape and the way the homes were kind of built into the landscape on the mountains. And I remember thinking, I'm like, man, this is like really beautiful. And I met this random guy from, I think he's from Portland or Oregon or Washington.
Just above me.
And okay. And so me and him had a conversation. And then I think it was like a day later, I ran into him again. And so we're talking, and I'm talking to him about my ferry ride down. And I'm like, yeah, it's so nice the way the buildings are kind of peppered into the landscape. And he's like, yeah, it's nice. He's like, it's a sweet combo. And then I'm like, yeah, a sweet combo, a sweet combo, a sweet combo. And then I walk off after the conversation, and that's like on my mind, on my mind. And then I'm like, boom, that's a great name for an ice cream, cake, and pastry shop.
It is.
Yeah. And so I mean there's much more, I should say a lot more to the story. But nonetheless, that's the quick of it.
Okay. I'm just
Yeah.
curious then, why did you specifically pick the ice cream, pastry, and cake?
So I didn't pick it.
Ooh.
It came to me in a dream, and I spent some time in prayer, and God told me that that's something on my agenda for the future. And so the exact date or the exact year I'm going to open it, or I plan to open it, this I haven't nailed down yet. First, I need to prepare the environment in order to open that shop or any other business that I plan to open in the future. And so right now, just kind of figuring out the waters in regards to how and what are the first products that I could offer given this purpose.
Okay.
And I think the first product that I'll offer is a singing in public chorus. Okay. It's it's a very fun thing to do. So, but it takes the right mindset in order to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the right mindset is not worrying about the opinions of others, or maybe to put it better is not letting the potential opinions of others overwhelm your mind. So I'm not saying that the opinions of others don't matter, because that's, even opinions from strangers are important, because strangers can see things about me that other people that know me can't see, or they're so used to it, it doesn't stand out. Like, for example, this is one of the reasons why I started doing podcasts.
Okay.
Because one of my consultants said, "Hey, man, you're good at talking, and you have and someone else told me, he's like, yeah, you have a soothing voice." And
You really do, by the way.
Oh, thank you, sir. And so the consultant who advised me and said, "Hey, yeah, you should do podcasts." I thought about it, and I thought about it a little bit more and said, "Hey, you know what? That's actually a great idea." And part of the reason, well, there are multiple reasons why it's a good idea for me to do podcasts. But after speaking with him, I said, "Okay, yeah, let me do it." And so at that point, when he told me that, we had met like maybe 3 or 4 times. And so he's still relatively a stranger to me. And so to bring it back to singing in public, it is important to hear opinions and critiques from strangers. And there's more detail about that, but I won't go into that unless I give people too much information. But
just don't take it to heart, pretty much.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Don't
take it too personal.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Don't take it too personal. And also, don't let it overwhelm your mind, because it will affect a person's performance.
Mm-hmm.
And it could keep a person from doing things that they need to do or they want to do, because it's like, oh, well, what is Josh going to think of me? Or what is Emmanuel going to think of me if I'm singing in public, or maybe I'm going to mess the song up and people are going to laugh at me. And so one of the reasons why it's a good training exercise, one, healthy fun, two, it can help people overcome some fears, and three, this is a big one, to help people get over the worry about other people's opinions. Wait, can you say what you said again? You used the
don't take it to heart, or don't take it too personal.
Don't take it too personal. So this way, because sometimes people incorporate the opinions or the potential opinions of others into their plans, into the things that they do. Like, for example, someone might do that and marry the wrong person. For example, some women have reported that, hey, they feel this peer pressure from their friends, or they feel this pressure from society to hurry up and get married, because people will think less of them. and so people, and with that on a young lady's mind, this is kind of stressing them out, and they might make a faulty choice in a man just to one, prove other people wrong, or to not stand out as like, oh, hey, this person doesn't have a husband yet. And so it's important, because it can affect some very, 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 very serious decisions.
Yes, you can. So I love where we're going, but can we get a quick synopsis of who you are, and then we'll pick up where we left off?
Okay. Quick synopsis.
Your name?
I'm Emmanuel Enime. And
okay.
Yeah, I'm I'll say the character coach.
Hey, I like it.
and so the mindset that a character coach wants to get whoever they're coaching to is to have joy and happiness during the difficult times.
100%. Perfect. Yeah, because I'm sitting here like, this is too good of a story. I don't want it. It's like, quickly, just get who you are. Let's get back to
that. Speaking of decisions, that looks like a pretty nice microphone that you have.
Oh, thank you. It's the Blue Yeti.
Okay.
I'm saying, it looks like you have the Rode, right?
It's iRig.
Oh, okay.
How does this one?
It's coming through really sound? Good.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, this was a nice adventure to pick this one up.
That could be a whole story in and of itself.
Every day there is there is some sort of story or some sort of interesting thing that I'm encountering as I walk with God. It's like, I mean, in August, I was approaching random strangers on the street in Germany, trying to improve my small talk. I started writing writing poetry, and I've read some poems to a few random strangers on the street. It's
No, actually, I'm just smiling. It's not like a laugh because I've had people do that too. That it's just here in California, we have a little train system. Other than COVID, I used to take it all the time to downtown Los Angeles. And this one random person just drew a picture of me and wrote a poem. And is like, can I read it to you? And I was like, sure, why not? Like, you did all this work. I might as well hear it.
Okay, that's pretty interesting.
And I was just like, what? They just wrote this gorgeous poem. And I'm like, hey, can I get a copy of that or something? And they just handed it to me. They were just like, here you go.
So why did they pick you? Was it because you were wearing those glasses?
No, I only wear this on the computer.
Okay. No, those are some. I guess I like the tint on the.
Yeah, it's for blue light. So
okay,
blue light makes you mentally wake up, and it's hard to go to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just why I wear it. I'll take it off now. No, they just showed me because at that time it was 2019, early part of it, so long before COVID even hit. And I was just writing, and that's when I was still a little angry. So it was funny. They nailed it word for word. I wish I still had the poem. It was just like how there was an inner battle going on, and how the moon and the sun are almost about to collide. And it was just like beautiful strokes of literature. And I'm like, wow. And they saw that all just from my eyes and my posture.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay. Yeah, that's how quickly did they? Oh, I guess let me back up.
It was like a 10-minute segment they came on. So where I am in California, they came on like 2 cities over, and I'm going like 15, 20 cities in. So they were on for like 7, 8 stops and then handed to me as they're leaving. So like 20 minutes.
Interesting. Very, very interesting.
Right? No, that's what I said. I was just smiling because it's like a personal thing for me I've learned with chatting with people is you actually don't take people's opinions too serious. They're too focused on themselves to care about you. I mean, intrinsically, we humans are good and we will come together, but like on an individual basis, they don't really care about you as much as you think.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? What do you mean by, I guess, apply it to the person who wrote the poem for you?
Oh, so that one was kind of like you. It was just on a mission to small chat, super introverted and socially awkward. Okay. So that was just their way of doing it. They're like, sorry, it's so awkward. I'm like, this is cool. I like it.
Okay.
But no, in general, I'm talking like I currently still work a job and all that. And it's one of those I've learned people are more fascinated with their phones and what's going on in their life than what's happening to you. And there's nothing against the person. They're just more focused on them than others. And see, okay. I focus on others and helping them before I help myself.
Question, why do you think it is that people are, because it's a big thing, why do you think it is that people are so infatuated or so drawn to their phones?
See, I didn't even say phones. I like how you picked up on that. It's the dopamine hit. A lot of the people, dopamine is like the happiness hit. And a lot of people, like just simply turning on your screen, you get a dopamine reaction. So for us humans, it's more like we are literally wired and addicted to our phones because it's the infinite entertainment box.
Okay.
But we as creatures, as humans, we've always wanted entertainment. Back in feudal Japan, they had the plays and productions of the samurai and this. and great music and orchestra and beautiful geisha girls dancing everywhere. In Japan, sorry, I said that. In Germany, Middle Ages, same thing, taverns, music playing, poets speaking, celebration. So we've always celebrated and wanted entertainment. But now we just have unlimited entertainment right here. So why do we need to focus on others when I could just focus here?
Okay. So my theory on this is that a lot of people are missing a balance in their life. And
Yes.
so they're binging on that thing that is out of balance in their life. And so I've seen this I remember I was on the tram the other day and I saw this young guy and he was just swiping through reels, or maybe it was reels or TikTok videos. And so my theory is that he's
looking for something, but he'll never find it.
But also that he's missing a part of his life, and so he's kind of chasing that by looking at other people's videos of adventure or creativity. Or I guess I'll also say it this way. I'll talk about Oktoberfest in Germany.
All right.
So this is tying in that theory. One of the reasons why I believe that sometimes people from other countries come to Oktoberfest in Germany and get super, super, super drunk is because they're missing a good work fun balance. And so once they get a little bit of time to have fun, then they're trying to just make up for all the fun that they've missed out on because maybe they're working too much. And so they binge on fun, or even with like Netflix shows, like people end up binge watching those Netflix or some shows on Netflix. And part of my theory is that maybe that person is missing some adventure in their life. And so this is why they're seeking it so much.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, also, or it's like they're just working too much. So when they get that time for relaxation, then it's like, man, let me cram all the relaxation or everything I can into this moment. So because, well, I'm going to go back and work.
So there's a saying, at least here in California, and generally America, I don't know about your side, but it's called the live for the weekend. You work Monday through Friday, and then you party on the weekend because you couldn't party through Monday through Friday. And so it's like you get drunk Friday, kind of recover Saturday, get ready Sunday, start the grind again. And like for me, I never could understand that, even at a young age, where everyone's like, oh, we have a party Friday. And same with my coworkers. And it's like during the week, they binge watch 6 to 8 hours of shows when they just work 6 to 8 hours. So it tells me that they're not happy with life in general. They're on autopilot, essentially. They're existing barely. It's like a living dead situation. They're alive, but they're internally dead. Where a character coach like you would be amazing.
And you know, one thing that I'm hopeful for people. So one thing that I do to try and make sure I get a good work rest balance is. So on my daily schedule, I work about 50 minutes, 10-minute break, 50 minutes, 10-minute break.
Very
And
good.
so I think I kind of modeled it after, I think it's the Pomodoro technique or something like
There's
that.
a lot of people who preach it. Yeah, I do the same thing. Like when I'm working on my website, I'll go an hour, then I'll take like a 15-minute break, go walk around, get some popcorn, get a drink of water, and around 15-ish minutes, I get back to work and just slam it out for an hour.
What kind of popcorn you like? What's your
Just
favorite?
air popped with a little bit of salt on it.
Okay. I I guess I like the classic, just butter.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm gonna say I do that too. I have an old like 1960s air popper, like my grandparents bought it way back in the day. So I just pour the kernels in, it pops up, and sometimes I'll pick like some light butter and put it on, or because it's kernels, it's not
It's not in the bag.
right. So you have to be careful because you put too much, it makes the kernels all soggy.
Okay, and so uh, you have to do some tinkering around to find out how to get
Perfect
the
butter
right
to popcorn ratio.
Okay, all right, fair enough, fair enough. Maybe you should write a blog post about that.
There we go. The perfect ratio of butter to popcorn.
But yeah, so back to my work schedule. So also, I work 6 weeks, take the 7th week off.
Interesting. Okay.
And I tell you, are you familiar with the term shower moment?
And maybe I might have heard it differently. Can you explain it?
So I guess a lot of entrepreneurs use this term. So they'll get some great ideas in the shower.
Right.
Yeah. And so it's like, in a sense, it's like you get some great ideas sometimes when you walk away from the thing that you're working on, when you take a break, kind of let your mind reset, let things settle, so it has space for new ideas to come in, or for old ones to reassemble. And so I would say for about the past year, I've been doing this. Work 6 weeks, 7th week completely off. And so had I not done this, I would have never discovered my purpose, because every time I go into that week, there's either I get a new idea and I'm like, oh, that's great. Let me try that out when I go back to when I go back to working and trying to do things in regards to preaching. And so, or maybe before the break, there was something that I was kind of trying to figure out, and I couldn't find a way to get it to get it to work. But break time came, and it's like, oh, that's how I'll go. That's the way I'll approach it. And additionally, something else that I add during break time is I try to go out into nature. Some like maybe like here, there's a mountain, and sometimes I've walked up it. This past week, I took the bus up, but I walked down.
Okay.
But yeah, it always happens. Always happens. In that 7th week, get the rest, let my mind reset, and I always get some new idea that helps me once I come back after break. And
so I got a trick for you. So you don't have, I would say this is one of those you can implement actually effective today. what I do to get my ideas, if I'm mulling something over and I'm having trouble, what I do is I say to myself until I'm like fully asleep, pretty much, is whatever the problem is, it will resolve itself. And when I wake up, I will have my answer, whatever it may be. And every time I've done it, no break, I just say like, okay, I'm like, for me, I was struggling with my website. I'm like, okay, should I continue building my coaching program or should I focus on writing stories? When I wake up in the morning, I'll have my answer. I do that till pretty much I pass out or just fall asleep and can't talk anymore. Every time I wake up, boom, I have my answer.
Okay. Okay. Very, very interesting.
Because even though we're sleeping, we actually, our subconscious, it fulfills the last thing you hear. So it literally is even though you're sleeping, it's like you're getting your REM and your theta level of sleep and your dreams. It's actually solving that problem for you. And that's how I figured out so much so quick. Because I just like, okay, I'm struggling with this. What's the answer? Tell me in the morning.
Okay. And so you found that continuously repeating.
It's like Emmanuel will have his answer in the morning, whether it should be a strawberry ice cream or a cookies and cream ice cream. And they just keep saying that. I was like, I will have my answer.
Or perfectly buttered popcorn.
Or the perfectly buttered popcorn ratio. Yes.
Cool. Okay.
That's just something to try out. And I've noticed too, because like this week, my boss gave me like 3 days off in a row. He's trying to re-level here in America. Super Bowl is a huge thing. I don't know about your side, but so because I work at a grocery store, our traffic's low, so they're like, he's giving people he knows it won't financially ruin them 3 days off. Yeah, so he knows I live with my parents, and the check is nice, but it's not necessary, kind of thing. So that's where he gave me 3 days off, and because I work night shift, so 12 to 6 in the morning.
Okay.
So I had today off, and literally I just sat there thinking the same thing. It's just like, okay, what's my mission? What's my goal? What am I supposed to do? And then when I woke up at like 4 a.m, I was like, there it is. I had my answer. And ironically, I was chatting with this one guy about how to sell coaching and all that. And I told him, like, yeah, I'm having trouble with my website. He's like, I bet you anything, this is off air. He's like, it's going to resolve itself. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, sure. And like literally when I was going to bed, turning off everything, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go check it. And it did. Now it's just like small little buttons I need to tweak, but my whole website now is just, I'm prepping it. And I just was like, wow, literally, it's just all lining up. And that was just one of those, same thing. I was just telling myself, okay, what am I supposed to do? When is it going to happen? Kind of thing.
And yeah, so what you're saying also has similar elements to
prayer.
So what I'm saying, well, that, but also stepping back, letting your mind catch its breath, and then in time, it's you're able to find or discover that thing that you need. And so, well, let me not go into prayer because that's a multifaceted topic, and I think we probably have
we don't have enough time for it, probably.
Yeah, we probably already talked about a large number of things, but yeah, it's a good thing to come to balance.
It is,
and it's important if someone finds themselves binging on something to maybe look and see and try and discover, well, what is it that I might be missing in my life? Like maybe someone plays a lot of video games, a lot of adventure.
That was me for the longest time.
And so it might be a matter of like, man, that person person needs some adventure in their life, and like they're seeking it through the video games. And I say, just come sing in public with me.
Or start your own business. That's pretty adventurous too.
Yeah. And so, well, there was something you said earlier about being on the train that you were dealing with some anger issues, and it was I guess apparent on your face.
Yes.
Did you do anything in particular to get over that?
Okay, so this is a long, I would say that's a very long story for the backstory, but essentially, let me give you like the quick synopsis like yours. I was essentially misdiagnosed as bipolar and schizophrenic. I was put on some heavy meds. So all my life, I believed I was a bipolar schizophrenic monster that could snap and kill people in a drop of a hat. Now I realize as an adult, that was just propaganda fed to me, but I was on some really, really heavy meds. So it's the kind I actually almost got in trouble with a doctor. I went to just do a normal checkup. And she's like, this is the kind of prescriptions that clinically insane people in the asylum take. And you're just walking around freely. Who are you? And she started calling security. I'm like, bitch, I'm out of here, kind of thing.
When she started calling security
to arrest me, to take me back to the asylum, which I never been, by the way.
Oh, so she looked at your meds and was like, okay,
this guy's crazy beyond belief. He's
okay. So with these meds, this person had to have been in some sort of asylum.
So pretty much most of my life. So that was like 6 or 7 years ago when I was still on it. When I was 13, when young, impressionable, it was put on the gambit of drugs when I was 8. So in general, my life experiences is through the perception of drugged out, emotional, forgetful kids. So I had no context. That's like my new thing, is giving context to whatever happens as like an homage to my younger self, kind of thing.
What do you mean by that? Giving context to whatever happens? What is?
So like how I came to the conclusion, don't take what people say too personally. You can see it. My teeth are a little out of line too. Mm-hmm. They were way more haggled. They truly look like a wolf or a beast.
Okay.
So people would always call me a monster and like, oh, you're going to bite our throat out, you monster.
Okay.
But see, emotional young Josh didn't know. I was just like, oh my God, I must be a monster. So then I started fulfilling that. I started thinking, well, if I'm a monster, I need to hide, kind of like a werewolf. I can't see people. I can't interact with people. And then because of the isolation, I was very angry and very lonely.
Uh-huh.
So that's the funny thing is about when that all was happening. My martial arts instructor picked me up. 6 months earlier, I tried to take my life. I just knocked myself out, though. It was just a belt trying to hit.
Okay.
Clearly, it didn't work because I'm here.
Uh-huh,
but and that's where 6 months later, and he said the same thing. He got his funnel cake and his soda and went for his buddy with the booth, and he just literally jumped out of the booth, grabbed me, and dragged me in and said, "Hey, kid, you want me to teach you how to break limbs legally and cool?" I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it."
Wait, what booth? What booth did he?
So here, where I am in like the Los Angeles area, there's a thing called the Los Angeles County Fair. So he bought a booth in the fair. When you're going through like getting your popcorn and all that, and you go into games, there's a section of just merchants selling their wares.
Okay.
So he was selling free martial arts lessons.
Okay.
That's how he got his loophole in. And that's where he picked me up. And that's where 15 years later, essentially, I told him, I thank you for picking me up when you did, because I don't know where I'd be without you, kind of thing. You literally changed my life.
Okay.
But that was his thing. He said, I saw a rage in there that you just needed to put it somewhere. And he's like, the beauty of martial arts, you can put it in a bag and ethically you can put your anger into other people without hurting them too much. We all sign a contract. He like jokingly Middle Eastern guy. We all sign contracts, so it's okay. If you break them, it's okay. Insurance covers it.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, so what you're talking about is one of those things that, or actually, I should say that's something that I am focused on helping people understand right now is where does that anger and rage come from? And and most of the times it's tied into someone causing another person to feel some sort of shame.
Oh, absolutely. No, that was the main cause for my problem.
And so it's when that happens, then maybe the best way to put it is then the person who feels shame develops an unforgiveness infection in a sense. And so I'll put it, I guess, this way simply. You get one thought of anger and then
multiplies to two, two multiplies to four.
Yes. And so this is one of the reasons why a large number of people are in prison. This is one of the reasons why almost all divorces happen. This is one of the reasons why Hitler went so far is because, as you said, it multiplies that anger. It multiplies and it grows and eventually it has to come out.
And if you, it's like for me, I would bottle it up.
And yeah, go ahead.
I was saying, it just got to the point like putting a Mentos in a Coke. I thought I could just keep the pressure under check, and then the mindset fulfillment, I would lash out like a wild beast at people, angry and breaking things, which then I just like immediately resort back to, I need to reserve my anger again. I can't show this side of me. And which only perpetuates the problem.
Correct. And so this is actually what is happening. So God has a contract.
Okay.
And so essentially this is the way his contract goes. So if I have unforgiveness against you, if maybe you told me that, Emmanuel, you made the popcorn soggy again. It's like, this is the 5th time I told you about this. And so maybe I get angry at you because of that critique. Mm-hmm. And so there's that one seed of anger. And I'm like, Josh is, the popcorn is good. It's, and I start to have thoughts of anger against you, like, I should throw this popcorn at Josh. And so this is God's contract. He's like, Emmanuel, I've forgiven you of a billion things.
Forgive that one person.
Yeah, or let me not go into that angle, but it's like, Emmanuel, I've forgiven you of a million things. Forgive Josh this one thing about the popcorn. Besides, the popcorn is soggy. He's right.
He's trying to be polite about it.
And so what happens is, if I, Emmanuel, say, no, God, yeah, you forgave me those a million things. You were kind to me. but I can't let this one go between me and Josh. And so God's contract is like, okay, I have to give you over to the devil. And what the devil is going to do is he's going to plant those seeds of anger into your mind, and they'll multiply. And the devil will not stop until you forgive. And I can't stop him until you forgive.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is why, like, for example, with Hitler, he had a lot of unforgiveness that built up through his life, from childhood, rejection from art school.
A lot of things were going against him. A lot of things.
And so all of this built up, and kind of like you said, it's like became this pressure cooker for him, to the point where he had to act on all of that anger and rage that was built up. And so this is one of those things that I plead with people. I'm pleading, begging,
mm-hmm.
Please forgive. Please, guys, forgive, because it's the way to have a peaceful mind. Because when you forgive, then the devil can't put those overwhelming thoughts of anger in your mind due to that unforgiveness.
Right.
And so I was the podcast I was on earlier, as we were talking, this actually came up in a way, and we were talking about cancel culture.
It's very toxic now. Yeah.
And so that's one of those things that people who are, I guess, involved in wanting to cancel other people need to hear, is like, you got to forgive that person. Please, you got to forgive that person, because what's going to happen is, as people seek vengeance and revenge because maybe somebody made them feel a certain way, you're continuing to feed that infection, and it's going to grow, and it's going to grow, and it's going to grow. And it actually cannot stop. People will be physically harmed if people don't forgive. And sometimes forgiveness is just this simple. It's just this simple. Hey, Josh, you were right. The popcorn was soggy. I'm sorry I got angry at you. I forgive you. Sometimes
that's gonna be the show's name. The popcorn was soggy. They're gonna get the joke like 50 minutes in.
But might be a good title. But sometimes it's just that simple, and I could save myself hours, months, years of anger. Sometimes it's just that simple. There are other things sometimes that people need to do in order to get rid of that rage, that anger due to unforgiveness. But I won't go into that.
I won't say, but I will. The others can't see it, but you see the books back here?
Yes, sir.
So one of them was the book Thinking Fast and Slow.
Okay.
Which is essentially the basic roadmap of how our mind works. And I honestly am not a book reader, like this kind of book. It's just, for me, I get like a weird type of dyslexia. Letters just jump around for no reason. It's like Mexican jumping beans. You're like, where the hell they go? But for me, as I read it and I realized, and that's where I actually paid an extra like $40 and I bought the audiobook and I listened to it every so often. Essentially, So
boy, audiobook costs $40.
yeah, it was like a 30-hour read. So you're paying for the
Okay.
so
Okay.
Essentially for the what I was listening to, he said so how he works is system 1 is emotion, system 2 is logical thinking. System 1 or emotions can override logical thinking, but logical thinking cannot override emotions. It's not a full perfect yin and yang. He said, but there is a loophole. If emotions are overwhelming you and you can catch it, if you breathe for 10 breath, like 10 seconds in, 10 seconds out, he said it overrides emotion. He's like, so then it is a perfect, but he's like, you must know what is triggering you and why it's triggering you. Otherwise, it will just be an endless loop. And that's what you were kind of indirectly touching on. And that's when I picked onto that, I was like, oh, I'm angry because of this, this, and this. So every time I catch myself, I don't get angry or anything.
And so actually you said something very, very, very important.
Okay.
In regards to emotional systems overriding logical systems.
Mm-hmm.
And so, well, part of my work as a character coach is to heavily focus on, because there are a lot of things that come from the emotional system,
Mm-hmm.
if you will, that will cause issues with the logical system, that will cause issues with performance or productivity,
Mm-hmm.
fear, worry, doubt, pridefulness, bad planning, bad goal setting, jealousy.
Sorry, I'm just chuckling because that's all I struggled with. And after reading that book, it's like now I'm like that cold, calculated guy where everyone's like, shoot, he has already the next 5 years figured out.
Wait, he has, say the last thing again?
So for
he has
like 5 years worth of stuff already planned out. And if you talked to me like 2 years ago before I read that book, I was scattered. Like, this is now controlled chaos. I know what it means. But if you came in, everything was everywhere. And
okay.
So now it's like, I know what, like, even though it looks like chaos, I know what it means. So it's not chaos to me. And that's where I would never plan. Like when I first started the show, I was going by the cuff of my, like just winging it.
The seat of your pants.
Yeah, there it is. I was trying to figure out the word without being like an idiot.
No, you're good.
But yeah,
off the cuff also.
There we go. But so that's where at a certain point, what made me realize and calm down and start listening to that guy is I overbooked myself. I was doing 8 interviews a day. Okay. So that was my chaotic emotional. I'm like, I have to get as many in as possible. This and that doesn't matter. And now I'm like this. It's like, you got a set time. I get 3 a week. If you show up, great. If not, oh well. I'm not going to try to make extra.
Okay. Yeah, it's important, very important to put the emotions in check.
Yes. Very important.
It's very, very important. It will cause people to, well, as I may mention of earlier, it can cause people to make some very
bad decisions.
Yeah. Because it's like you're just overwhelmed, fear, worry, doubt, pride. So you're not taking advice from other people, and you think that I got it. It's like
this person doesn't know what the hell I'm struggling with, though, so I'm not going to listen to them.
And so it's like, man, well, I'm hopeful because I have a lot of information to give to people. And once people understand And then I showed them ways that they can put these things into practice in order to more comprehensively develop their characters.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking forward to many people. What's the best way to say? Growing and developing. And I look forward to many people reporting to you, Josh, because I got control of my emotions. I got the perfect mix for butter.
The soggy popcorn.
I got the perfect mix for butter and popcorn. Yeah, because that can affect someone's cooking as well. Maybe you're like,
Oh, it can. It affects everything.
Yes, exactly. And this is what I'm continuously striving to communicate with people. I'm glad we were able to communicate this with each other.
Me too. Yeah, like for me, the reason I point out the books is so the March 2020 market crash is what piqued my interest. Like, why are people dancing in the street like it's the best thing ever since sex, and some are crying like Beelzebub in the room? I'm like, this makes no sense. So I did my research and I figured out, and that's where I'm like, oh, okay, it was a stock market crash. What is the stock market? Figured that out. I'm like, okay, stock market is investing in business. What's that all about? I'm like, oh, it's mindset. Okay. Mindset. What is that all about? Oh, it kind of ends up being more spiritualism than anything else. And I'm like, okay. Then it's just the rabbit hole kept going. But that's when I realized, I'm like, oh, so I am actually actively trading different stuff. And it's just one of those, if any of those pillars pop off, your whole thing's ruined. So I joke with people. I've taught myself essentially the mindset of a business person or a trader, like a stock trader, not like the pirates on the sea going garg trader, but
okay.
But it's just essentially like it's the kind of one of my coworkers, he likes finances, so we talk. I said it's kind of weird. It's become more of a spiritual journey than anything else. Yes, I said I will be building a lot of wealth and a lot of whatever systems, but I also know in the end of this game, when I finally pass away and go on to wherever that might be, I can't take what I did here on, but I can build systems for it to keep going long after I'm dead. Mm-hmm. And to help perpetuate and help people. So I tell him jokingly, like, it's the kind of gift thing where it's like, help Josh get rich so he can help other people long after he's dead.
I don't think that's a bad thing. It's like, hey, because money is a transfer. It can multiply. It can multiply your effectiveness. So, say for instance, you become a millionaire, and you have an actionable thing that people can do to get over whatever emotion that is overwhelming them. Mm-hmm. And because you have that $1 million, you can find many more ways to
reach people.
Spread that message to, yeah, indeed.
Well, it's just here in California. I know it's not just, at least where I am in Southern California, it's very anti-capitalist, very anti, if you make more than 100K a year, you're a capitalist pig. You deserve to be strung up, kind of thing. Okay. The running joke because I have a group called futures traders. It's farming, it's like agriculture, but they all joke because I'm in California right now. They're like, oh, well, you're in communistic California, Commie Cali, because it's where I am in Los Angeles County. It's February 22nd, 2022. We are still on lockdown, like the heat of the pandemic.
Oh,
yeah.
Is that so?
That's why we call it. It's a running joke of Commie Cali, because literally every other county in California is pretty much all right. It's like if you're outside this and that, you're good to go. If you go to the grocery store, you don't need a mask. Where I am, they're like, hell no. The sheep need to stay in line.
Ah, man. Okay.
That's where I'm like, I need to get out of California too.
I guess I'll say this. In a sense, you have an advantage, though.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because, well, this gives you an opportunity to do loneliness training.
That's actually one that I've had a lot of people talk to me, because that was my biggest struggle, was loneliness. But see, there's the deeper derivative of I couldn't accept myself. So if I can't accept myself, I can't accept others for who they are. So I just, again, the perpetuating problem. Now that I've like gone through just kind of like therapy time and neuro-linguistic programming and all that, and we've rewired my brain. Now a lot of people have even told me where I work in my martial arts studio, they're like, dude, you're just oozing with like confidence now. What shifted? I said, well, I just accepted all the damaged good events I had, and for what they are in the past, and they can't affect me now.
Okay.
And that's it. Right? Like, it's happened. I can't ignore that part. It happened, but what's done is done. Keep going.
Yeah, keep moving forward. And so actually one of my new questions to ask people is, could you be happy during a COVID lockdown without your cell phone? And
yes,
so,
at least for me, yes.
And so that's one of those places where me as a character coach, I want to get people to. It's like, hey, you can have happiness and joy in difficult times, in lonely times. You can have that, and it comes down to that mindset, and sometimes actually doing exercises to practice dealing with loneliness.
Oh, 100%. No, I agree. That is like, for me, like, again, you'll see it, they won't see it. I got a fish tank.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, because I saw as I was focused on you, I saw something dart in the corner. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. So I got a fish tank. Well, I always had one. I had a little itty bitty, like 10-gallon one. It's like they're on, super small. And it was just a pink little glowy fish. Like if you put a light to it, it glows really bright pink.
Okay.
The thing was with me for 3 years, and that fish only lives like a year and a half, 2 years at worst. So it got a good long life. It recently passed. So I just was obsessed on how to optimize my fish tank. And that was that, and reading books. And that was literally what got me through the whole pandemic.
Okay. Good. Yeah, I'm happy to hear, and I'm when people are able to persevere through unsettling times, difficult times, like the two women that I mentioned to you earlier, Amy Carmichael and Gladys Aylward. Man, their stories are just
pure inspiration.
Talk about man. Yeah. So if you get a chance, check them out on check out their stories on YouTube, or I guess I should say anybody who's listening to this, check out their stories on YouTube, and this way people can know, hey, it's actually possible for me to have joy and happiness during difficult times in life. And it's a good goal to aspire to.
It is.
Yeah, it's a good goal to aspire to. Well, sir, as
It's getting pretty late, and I feel like we could go to at least till 1 a.m. your time.
Well, I'm no stranger to talking late. It's just a matter of I have to be mindful of the schedule because I do have another. I do have
starting
another
right now?
podcast. No, so it will be in about another hour and a half, but I want to try and get some food in between.
Yeah. So, where can everyone reach you at?
So if people want to find me, they need to move to Zagreb, Croatia.
Okay. You heard it.
Yeah, you heard it. Pack it up. No, so people can find me on Instagram, and it's my handle is my name at Emmanuel Enime, and it's all one word.
Okay.
And I guess you'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, it's already 1 o'clock, so it should have sent you an automatic email just saying, "Hey, send me a headshot, a basic description, and any links you want in the description too."
Okay, cool. All right,
so
sir.
Awesome. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you on.
So we're gonna stick with that title, Soggy Popcorn.
The popcorn was soggy. Yes, we are.
Beautiful.
Everyone's gonna be listening. What the hell are they talking about? Why would we talk about soggy popcorn?
Oh man, this is one of the reasons why I love having conversations with people, because I talk about all sorts of different things and able to incorporate it into the conversation and actually talk about improving one's mindset as well. And so, like, I had a conversation with this young lady talking about ferrets, the exotic
Interesting.
pet. And we were able to incorporate that into talking about character development, mindset development in the human being. And I was able to make a good joke and say, yeah, people should live their best ferrets. And
that's actually pretty good.
But I mean, the way we had the discussion, it fit in regards to. I'll throw in this nugget. Okay. Apparently, ferrets are very
aggressive.
Well, but persistent in trying to get to a goal.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because she made mention of how the one of her ferrets would always try and climb on a desk and if I recall correctly, would play on the keyboard, on the computer keyboard.
Okay.
And so they tried to find ways to keep it from getting up there. So they would, I guess, move things out of the way so it couldn't jump up and climb on. But she said the ferret would find its way to try and get onto the desk. So it's like, yeah, that's actually a good thing for people with goal setting and trying to achieve some goals. It's like sometimes you got to get creative and be persistent to get there. So live your best ferret, right?
Hey, there we go.
Oh man, cool. Well, sir, it was a pleasure, and have a good day.
You too.
Have a good day, sir. Have a good day. It was a good chat.
It was indeed. Well, congratulations. You made it to the end. You're an awesome person. Not many make it here. So, being the awesome person that you are, can you do me one more awesome favor? Can you rate and review this on whatever podcast services you're using? If you do it on Apple and you leave an actual written review, I have a thing on my website. I will take your written review and post it for all to see. Congratulations, you're permanently sealed on my site. Otherwise, I am trying to do YouTube more and live streaming. I will try to put as many of the YouTube links in the description of the show as I can. So give your boy some extra help over on YouTube. Watch my videos. I just mute it and change the channel, change the window or something. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for being awesome, and see you next time.